We mentioned the date a few times, gentlemen. It is January the 17th. Canada Soccer has recently announced a new general secretary. We have yet to see a press veil as they wait. I know Gareth has an update on when Ms. Walker will start the job, but everyone's asking right now the question, who is going to be coaching the men's national team in 66 days when they play Trinidad and Tobago in a must-win game? So I know the information, Gareth, has been difficult to come by in the head coaching search, but just an overall lay of the land from you, please. Take us to school on what is happening as Canada Soccer starts their 2024 year.
Have a listen. Do you guys hear that?
I hear
it's called
heater.
silence. It's called silence. There's been a lot of it coming out of Canada Soccer. That's the thing that stands out to me. I've been covering the national teams, the association for quite some time. This has been one of, if not the most quiet period that I can remember. And a lot of that has been caused by the transition. And if people wanted change within the Canadian Soccer Association, it's unrecognizable right now. Just in terms of the personnel, people working for it. You've taken out a lot of soccer acumen, and the CSA seems like they're in the process of replacing it. The General Secretary, Alison Walker, was named over the course of the holiday season. I know her from a past life at Maple Leaf Sport and Entertainment, a really impressive individual, someone who is going to be able to manage the Canadian Soccer Association in a professional way, hopefully surround herself by people that can go take the project forward. With that being said, she's not on the job yet. She starts on Monday. So expecting a men's national team head coach or that process to play out before she arrives, I just don't think that that's what's been going on, because at the end of the day, the general secretary is the person that the national team head coaches report into. Essentially, Alison Walker will be the boss of whoever the new men's national team head coach is. And as things stand, as far as I know right now, Mauro Biello is still in charge in overseeing all affairs to do with the men's national team. When will a men's national team head coach be hired? I'm not quite sure. Again, things are very, very quiet on that front. And if I'm going to share some kind of concern, it's like I look at the Canadian Soccer Association right now and the board, and they're dealing with a lot of off-field things that have very little to do with the game being actually played on the field. But I look at the people in roles right now, I'm like, who is making the soccer decisions? Who is in a position where they know enough or have the resources to know enough how to hire a men's national team head coach a couple of years out from hosting a World Cup? I don't have that answer. I don't know where the process is at this point. There's going to be a whole lot of eyeballs on Charmaine right now in terms of who she's talking to. I'm not sure who it may be, but I think there's more questions than answers right now. The general secretary, you can like the hire. I think that Walker's an impressive individual, but she's going to have to surround herself with soccer people because she is not, quote unquote, a soccer person. She's coming from the gaming world, and she's overseen big teams and important production within this country in terms of the sporting landscape. She's an impressive individual, but who's making soccer decisions? Significant question mark for me. So things will pick up as of next week, but as of right now, things are as quiet as I can remember within the CSA.
As we were reminded yesterday, Ollie, of you and Jordan Wilson in the Tony Bet top picks, you love a hunch. So I'm going to ask you what your hunch is right now, because with Alison Walker taking over on the 22nd, doing my math, that's 61 days before Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa. Are you expecting Mauro Biello to be the coach of the men's national team for that crucial game to get into Copa America?
Yes. And I'm not saying that because I have information or I've been told that. I'm just saying that like logically based on the timeline. Like, does anyone here think to, and I totally agree with Wheels that I do wonder who's leading this coaching search. I still really think there's a need for like a proper sporting director in this organization who can lead this kind of stuff, which they don't have right now. Does anyone think that they are going to find a head coach in 2 months, and not just find one in 2 months, because, you know, the guy can't just show up on March 17th or something and be ready to coach the team on March 23rd. Are they going to find someone early enough that coach has time to prepare and be ready for a crucial game that determines qualification to Copa America? I don't see it. Like I just don't. It's taken them a long time to get to this point. John Herdman joined Toronto FC on August 28th. September 20th, they announced that they were searching for the general secretary and that Biello would be continuing as interim coach in the meantime. Like, it's been a long, drawn-out process, as unfortunately it often is with Canada Soccer. I think that's been the nature of it, given the massive amount of turnover in the organization. I want things to happen faster, but I think that's a natural consequence of all the changes that have happened. And I just don't believe that in 2 months' time, they're going to find the person who leads this team through 2024, through the World Cup in 2026, and has that long-term vision for the program. I don't think it's enough time. I wish they'd started earlier and we could say that we would have the permanent person in place, but I'd be very surprised if that's the case by March.
That
was a long silence.
The reason why I'm huffing and puffing and sighing is because we've all talked and we have covered this game for so long. Ollie, you have as well. Adam, you're right up there with them. And me, I'm just a huge fan, right, of soccer, but also Canadian soccer specifically. And we all talk about this golden generation, this group of players that could take Canada to a level it hasn't been before. And a lot of what we talk about, what we've been talking about for the past 2 years, is turmoil or a lot of inconsistency or not enough clarity. And you're going into 2024, and I agree with Ollie, I agree with Wheels. I don't see much change. And that is disheartening as a fan, as someone who recognizes this team could actually go far. But it's all about the support system in which you have as well. You're about to host the World Cup in 2026. We do not have a coach. And more importantly, we don't have a plan of how we're getting the said coach, right? Like, nothing's in place. We're just sitting there waiting and watching. Do I think Biello will be the guy? I do. I don't see anyone coming in and changing things and that fast. You need someone that understands the climate, what you're going into, what this team has been through, what they've also put themselves through as well, right? Like, not playing matches, losing a big match against Jamaica the past bit. Biello, it was, again, first half when they played Jamaica, it was great, but it was catastrophic the way it ended. Is this a time to redeem themselves? It has to be, because I feel like he's going to be that guy. But in the future, you would want and you would hope that we could get someone in place sooner rather than later. Like, I think this has gone on for too long now.
All of this is good. There's part of me that thinks that all of this has been a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because a lot of players, this is kind of what they wanted, a chance for change. This is a great chance for change, but it's coming at the worst time. Like, the job that the board and the new general secretary have to do, like, it's nearly impossible. You got to get a men's head coaching job right. You're preparing for the World Cup. There's still no CBA agreement. The business needs to be modernized and expanded. You're dealing with political upheaval internally. Lawyers are coming after you. Like, this job right now is exceptionally difficult. And again, is there enough soccer acumen within the organization to make the proper on-field positioning? Because as much as people like us who are in the weeds can speak about what's going on behind the scenes and how the association is run, the general public, if the teams are winning on the field and there's no gripes or protests or anything like that, then onwards. But unfortunately, we're not there right now. So there is a lot to do. And I don't envy anyone who is tasked with what's going to be required here.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a massive search. And it's one of those 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where you want the coach as soon as possible because the players need the stability, the program needs the direction, but you also have to get it right. So
they can't rush it. Like,
they can't rush it, but yet they also kind of have to.
Well, I don't want them to like bow to pressure and think that they have to have someone in place in March and screw it up, because that's the worst case scenario. I just think they if you want to have someone in place in March, you got to start earlier than this. You can't start mid-January, late January. Like, it's not enough time.
Well, they started. I mean, the job opening went out a long time ago, and I'm sure that they're using agencies like they used to in their terms of their general secretary search. So the process has started, but again, those decisions need to be made. And I'm just not sure where they're at on that and what that actually looks like when a new general secretary with not a whole lot of experience in soccer starts on Monday. I just think there's a lot of questions about the process and how it will end up in a proper place.
Yeah, we'll continue to track this story as it progresses, hopefully with some more information to add to the speculation. But before we say goodbye, as always, it is time for our Tony Bet Top Picks. Presented by Tony Bet, time for some lines. The first, Jose Mourinho, plus 900 to be the next head coach of the men's national team. I'm just kidding. That was very topical, wasn't it?
That's
Thank you,
it.
Jordan, for the
Plus
plus 900. That's great odds. Give me some of that. Let's start with the African Cup of Nations with real odds. And the host Ivory Coast at plus 112 against Nigeria, Oliver Platt at plus 280.
Tough one. Both good teams. Give me Nigeria at those odds to cause a little bit of an early surprise, maybe. And it's not really a surprise. Nigeria are a good team, but with Ivory Coast as hosts, to upset the hosts a little bit, I'll say here.
The head huncho, Jordan Wilson. What do you say?
Yeah, head huncho Jay Will in the building. I'm going with Ivory Coast, the host nation. But Ollie is right. Both two good teams I could see going far, but I see Ivory Coast taking it. Cote d'Ivoire.
Gareth, break this tie.
I mean, this is a big one for Nigeria, having drawn their first game. I like the way this Ivory Coast team plays. Kessie, Singare, Fofana in the midfield. They have legs for days. Give me Ivory Coast.
Back to Gareth Wheeler. Egypt and Ghana. The Egyptians plus 100. The Ghanaians plus 320. A draw at plus 204.
Give me Egypt. My guy Mo Salah. Look, they're a team that's going to need a victory as well in this one. So give me Egypt.
Oliver Platt.
Yeah, neither team started well. Ghana, particularly having lost to Cape Verde, I can't see. I really like Ghana. I've enjoyed watching past Ghanaian teams over the years, but I don't think this is the best one, to be honest with you.
Again, our Tony Bet Top Picks. Our boys, Jordan Wilson, Gareth Wheeler, and Oliver Platt. We'll see you tomorrow for more on Soccer Today.